Hey folks, how you guys doing this morning? I know it's a little earlier than usual, but to be quite honest with you, I had to get this off. I woke up early and just had this stuff rattling on my mind. I couldn't wait to get to it and tell you all about it. So I'll jump right in. Uh, I'll start with a story. Earlier this week, I had actually two different clients or potential clients contact our office. And long and the short, they were both investors, private investors. One was from California, the other one was, I'm assuming, from somewhere around here. Um, and they were calling. Uh, Basically, they wanted appraisals for the properties that they were going to rehab. That's something we do all the time. It's not a big deal. Matter of fact, I actually love those because you get to see properties, before they are nice and pretty, and then you get to see them at the end. So that's always a pretty cool thing to see. Um, but in each of the cases, they were both going to use the appraisals to come up with to base private lending loans on, and in each case, and this is what was the funny part. In each case, they wanted it. They came in and they were basically like on Monday they wanted it Wednesday, and they wanted to pay like a little bit of money, very little bit of money. And what was funny about that is, and the other part of this too is what they really wanted was they wanted me to come up. They basically just wanted me to rubber stamp whatever it was that the investor wanted to hear, right? So if the person thought that it was $100,000 after everything was all said and done, that's what they wanted the appraisal to say, and they, in their head, they felt that I should be able to do that for like pennies right off the bat, just because that's what they decided that their properties were valued at, and that's fine. We call those rubber stamps, and as we talked about before, I don't really do that. That's not really my thing. So we were, we were not going to work well on that basis. But either way, um, after the second one called and kind of fell through, and it became interesting. I talked to the first one again because both of these came through like Monday, Tuesday time frame. Uh, and I talked to the first one again, and he said to me, he was like, "Well, I found somebody to do it, and they are about half as much as what you wanted." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine. Not a big deal. I'm booked anyway." But okay, cool. And we left it at that. So I got to thinking. I was like, man. Uh, First off, this guy, he called me up out the blue. I have a completely full schedule. He wanted me to drop everything that I was doing to give him a champagne product, but he wanted to pay me peanuts. From a business standpoint, there are many people who will do that. There are a lot of different businesses that will handle that type of request. I'm not one of them, and I'm okay with that. So that was my first interaction. But then after the second call came through, and we had kind of a similar interaction, uh, as opposed to my initial reaction was like, whatever, there, is garbage. I'm not trying to deal with that type of garbage client anyway. But then I thought about it, and I said, wait a minute, this is probably an opportunity, right? Because I had two people in the same week that are basically objecting to my services basically for the same reason. I cost too much, right? And that's fine. But like I said, that is an opportunity. So it got me to thinking, maybe the service that I'm offering, maybe the one that I've gotten used to offering, uh, is not really the one that they wanted. My clients actually want it and can need. Maybe I should probably come up with a much less expensive, um, quick, faster service that can provide uh, similar their, that can meet their needs in a much faster and cheaper way from my vantage point uh, for them. That could be an opportunity for me or for somebody else. So that was the change. Now here's the deal. That came about because I am kind of, as I told you guys last earlier in the week, I'm kind of at that point now where I'm embracing a lot of changes going on in my life. Okay. And those changes, as with everything, once one area of your life you start to think about changing, you're open to changing some other things. And that is what I've learned through that from this book called Mindset by Carol Dweck, Dweck. It's called Mindset, actually. That's the name of the book. And in that, she talks about this thing called a growth mindset. And in the growth mindset, when you're stumped with problems like the ones that I just shared with you, as opposed to blaming somebody else or just kind of shutting down and saying it was them, they'll never understand, blah, 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 you kind of look back and you say, okay, well, wait a minute, what's the opportunity here? How can I how can I use this, or how can I solve this problem positively? And all of that led me to think about the changes that we all deal with, right? We all deal with changes in our life. And that is the cool part. Change keeps us, it keeps us on our toes. Um, but specifically, in my roles as a self employed person, as a business owner, as an employee of our company, as a household engineer, I do a lot of the cooking and cleaning sometimes. Uh, as a student, I'm always learning something. And just, as simply as a person, the one thing that I see here is that you have to keep evolving, you have to keep changing uh, whatever it is you're offering to meet the needs of your clients, even if your only client is yourself. So it's okay to change. Change is good. Change leads to some really big things if you allow it, but you got to be open to it. And I think in lieu of all the stuff that's going on with my life, and I'm sure probably yours too, change is never going to stop. The only issue is how we're going to handle it. And I hope if you, like me, I hope you decide to handle that change with an open and growth mindset so that you can take full advantage of the opportunities that come from it. So that's it today. Whatever it is you're doing, I hope you get to apply that. And, we'll talk next week. See you.